Nolan, yes, yeah, so about ich will auch sich nicht shield here. Hello everybody and welcome to my review of the most anticipated movie of 2020. I'm talking about Christopher Nolan's Tenet. This is a movie that so many people have been really looking forward to. The trailers have been capturing the imaginations of moviegoers and Nolan fans, and then of course it's been put back and it's, you know, the whole pandemic thing has just made this movie impossible to see, and now it's finally out. And I went and saw it tonight. Oh boy, how am I going to review this? Okay, so I realize that there are a lot of Christopher Nolan fans out there. Like, this guy is one of the most hyped filmmakers of our time. Whether you agree with that or not as to whether he is hyped, but whether you actually, you know, think that he is the second coming of Jesus, then that's entirely up to you. I'm one of these people, I'm a bit on the fence about Christopher Nolan. Like, I do really enjoy a lot of his films. I think his Batman trilogy was great. The Prestige is possibly my favorite of his films. But then, like, those are the only ones that I really like. Then you sort of move on to things like Memento and Insomnia, which, again, I really enjoyed, not quite as much as the other ones. Inception, it's good to me. Like, I liked it, definitely didn't love it. And as far as Dunkirk and Interstellar, well, yeah, look, you know, it's my choice. I don't ever have to watch them again, and that makes me happy. So that being said, you know, when this movie was announced and when the trailers came out and when everyone just started going absolutely bananas over it, I was kind of like, look, you know what? Yeah, I'll see it, but I'm not that excited about it. And I was really hoping that it wasn't going to be one of these movies that you sort of sit there for 2.5 hours trying to figure out what the fuck you're actually watching. Anyway, so look, if you're a Christopher Nolan fan, I have absolute respect for you. If you love the guy's work, you might want to turn this review off right now because, god damn, I hated Tenet. So, I've been trying to figure out how to review this movie because ordinarily you go into it saying, so this movie was directed by Christopher Nolan and it stars a whole bunch of people and the plot is this, but I don't really know what the plot of this movie was. I mean, you got a bad guy played by Kenneth Branagh, who I think might be an arms dealer, and there's a weapon that is essentially gonna eradicate all of existence, and you got these people that have to stop it. In the meantime, there's people going forwards and backwards and man. So the film starts off with a character named the protagonist. That's what he's called in the film. He doesn't have a name. But not only does he not have a name, he doesn't have a story. He doesn't, like, we don't know anything about this guy, so we don't freaking care about him. You know, I was sort of thinking on the drive home, like, you know, really good action movie characters, like John McClane, okay? We know so much about this guy. In the first Die Hard, we know about his marriage. We know he has a family. We know about his backstory and stuff. And it made him an interesting character, like, you know, relatable in a way. This guy, you don't know anything about him. He's just there. He just exists. And so why should we care about him? So he's played by John David Washington. Then you've got Robert Pattinson as some other guy who is his friend, and I don't know, a whole bunch of people. Michael Caine's in the film for about 30 seconds, so if you're going to see this from Michael Caine, you're going to be disappointed. But then the plot is just, I don't know, it's just him going from one place to the other and talking to people, and then you get this whole, you know, time reversal thing getting involved in it, and there is a scene where he's talking to a scientist played by the French chick from Harry Potter, and at one point she's trying to explain it to him, and she says something, I'm paraphrasing here, but she says it's best not to try and understand it, and I'm sitting there like, okay, well, maybe I'll go on that journey as well. Maybe I'll just try not to understand it. But you need to understand it, because there's the way that the time thing, the temporal displacement happens throughout the film. You are just sort of sitting there like, there are rules, you know? And I'm sure they're established somewhere, buried in the dialogue, which at some times you can barely hear because it's mumbled or whispered or both. So, yeah, it's a kind of movie you really, really need to pay attention to this film, okay? I mean, I tried to pay attention. I really did. I thought I caught pretty much all the dialogue, but I was still just left sitting there like, what's going on? The editing was choppy. Not just when you go from just like one scene suddenly to another and you don't know what's happening, but even scenes themselves, like some dialogue scenes, they just cut very quickly back and forth between the two people. And there was one scene in particular that annoyed the crap out of me, where two people are sitting at a table talking, and every time it cut to a different shot, what they're doing with their arms and stuff didn't match the previous shot, to the point where the woman at one point, like, she's drinking a drink, and then when it cuts to from behind her, like, the glass is gone, things like that, which just really bugs me. You know what they say, the best kind of editing is editing that you don't notice, and yeah, I noticed this film. But this is the thing, at the end of the day, I thought, look, maybe above everything, if I didn't understand the whole concept of what was going on, at least maybe the action sequences and stuff might have been enjoyable, but they weren't. I mean, the film, it tried to be clever in parts. It tried to set something up in a certain scene, and then later on you kind of find out what the mysteries of that scene were, but it was really predictable as well. I mean, for anyone out there who's sitting there like, oh, I understood the film just fine. Dan Jensen, you're a dumbass. Well, I don't think I'm that much of a dumbass, because I was able to predict a lot of things in this film. And again, look, let me just clarify. Like, I know there are going to be people out there who thought this film was perfectly understandable and stuff, and that is great. I wish I could have been one of you, because, technically, on a technical level, the film was well made. I mean, the special effects and stuff were good. The performances were good. Like, Christopher Nolan is a good director. Probably not a great writer, but he's a good director. But even, the whole time thing, like, it's a gimmick that wears out really quickly. This film was a whole bunch of style over substance. Yeah, I'm never gonna see this film again, okay? I mean, Inception, when I first saw that at the cinemas, yeah, it was a little bit hard to follow, but I kind of got the gist of it, and when I saw it again later on down the track, I was like, okay, look, yeah, I get this film. But Tenet, just no, okay? Just no. I don't ever want to see this movie again. Look, to be fair, like I said, it was a well-crafted clusterfuck with some good performances and stuff. So yeah, look, I'm gonna give Tenet a 2 out of 10. Alright, so there you go. That is my opinion on Tenet, okay? This is just my opinion, alright? Yeah, I think this is a bad movie, but if anyone comes along and says, I thought it was great, I'm not going to argue with you, because seriously, if you thought it was a good movie, that is totally fine. Like, we all see movies differently, but I'd love to know what you guys thought of Tenet. So, yeah, by all means, drop me some comments either here, Facebook, or Twitter. All the social media links are in the description below, because I like to talk about movies, and I would love to talk about movies with you. I'll catch you next time.
Click subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest movie reviews. Skynet will be taking over any day now, so what have you got to lose? Nyah.